They called it the divine wind. Kamikaze. I didn't know what that word meant back in early 45, but I learned. God, I learned. My name's Robert Sullivan, and I was a gunner's mate second class on the USS Leutze, a destroyer operating off Okinawa. I was 19 years old. Thought I knew what war was by then. I'd been in the Pacific for nearly 2 years, seen action at Leyte Gulf, watched ships burn on the horizon. But nothing prepared me for what was coming. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, signed up 3 days after Pearl Harbor, same as half the boys in my neighborhood. My mother cried, but my father shook my hand and said I was doing the right thing, defending freedom, stopping the Japanese. All the things they told us. The Navy felt safer than the Army, you know? I figured I'd rather be on a ship than slogging through some jungle with my rifle. Funny how we think we can choose our fate like that, like it matters. By April of 45, we'd been on station near Okinawa for weeks. Picket duty, they called it, basically floating out there like bait, warning the fleet when Japanese planes were coming in. We all knew what that meant. The kamikazes had been hitting picket ships hard, real hard. But you get used to danger. That's the thing nobody tells you. After a while, the fear becomes background noise. You joke with the other guys, you write letters home, you play cards in the mess. You convince yourself it won't be your ship. Can't be. The odds are in your favor, right? I was at my battle station, the aft 40-millimeter gun mount, when the alarm sounded on April 12th, 1945. Just another drill, I thought. Just another day. I was wrong. The general quarters alarm wasn't a drill. You could tell by the way Chief Morrison was screaming into the comms. Bandits inbound. Multiple contacts. This is not a drill. My hands moved on instinct. Check the ammunition feed. Scan the sky. Wait for the gun director's orders. The other guys on my mount, Jackie Chen from San Francisco and Pete Kowalski from Detroit. We didn't say much, just got ready. The sky was clear, beautiful even. That's what I remember most. Bright blue, scattered clouds. The kind of day you'd want to be fishing back home. But somewhere out there, men were flying planes loaded with explosives, already dead in their minds, coming to take us with them. I saw the first ones maybe 5 miles out. Just dots at first, then growing. Our 5-inch guns opened up, the concussion rattling my teeth even from the aft mount. Black puffs of flak filled the sky. Other ships in the formation were firing too. It looked like the whole horizon was exploding. Here they come! Here they come! Someone was shouting over the phones. 3 planes. No, 4. Maybe 5. Hard to count when they're weaving and diving and the whole world is noise and smoke. Our 40-millimeter started tracking, and I was loading shells as fast as I could, the hot brass casings piling up around my feet. One plane came right for us. A Zero, I think. You could see the red circle on the wings. Pete was shouting something, but I couldn't hear over the guns. The plane was getting bigger, bigger. The tracers from our mount were reaching out toward it, and I swear I could see the pilot's face for just a second. We hit him. I know we did. Saw pieces fly off the wing, but he kept coming. That's when I realized what was different about this. In a normal fight, hitting a plane means it goes down. It turns away. The pilot tries to save himself. But these guys, they didn't turn away. They kept coming even when they were on fire, even when half the wing was gone. They wanted to die. They just wanted to take us with them. The Zero we hit veered off at the last second and splashed into the water 50 yards off our starboard side. But there were more coming, so many more. The second plane came in low, skimming the waves. Our forward guns couldn't depress far enough to hit it. I watched it come, helpless, just watching. It slammed into the USS Cassin Young, the destroyer about 1,000 yards off our port bow. The explosion was I don't have words. The whole forward section of the ship just erupted in orange flame and black smoke. I could feel the heat from where I was standing. Men were jumping off the Cassin Young. Some were on fire. "Keep your eyes on your sector." Chief Morrison was screaming, but how could I? How could any of us? Another plane dove on us from the starboard quarter. This one was already trailing smoke. Somebody had hit it on the way in, but it didn't matter. It kept coming. Our mount swung around, and I was loading, the spent shells burning my hands through my gloves. The barrel was so hot the air around it shimmered. We were hitting it. I know we were. I could see our tracers punching holes through the fuselage. But it didn't stop. It didn't stop. Time does something strange in those moments. Everything happens in slow motion and all at once. I saw the bomb under the plane's belly. Saw the pilot slumped in the cockpit. Maybe already dead, maybe not. Saw the plane drop lower, adjust, aim. It hit us on the port side, just forward of my mount. The world went white, then red. Then I was on the deck, my ears ringing so loud I couldn't hear anything else. Couldn't hear the screaming. Couldn't hear the secondary explosions. Just this high-pitched whine that filled my whole head. I tried to stand up, fell back down. My leg wasn't working right. I looked down and saw blood, a lot of blood, soaking through my pants. Shrapnel, I realized later. A piece of the plane had gone clean through my thigh. Pete was gone. Just gone. I'd been standing next to him 3 seconds ago, and now there was just a... I can't describe what was there instead. Jackie was crawling toward me, his face covered in blood. His mouth was moving, but I couldn't hear him. The ship was listing hard to port. Smoke everywhere. Fire everywhere. The smell of burning fuel oil mixed with something worse. Burning meat. That's what it smelled like. Burning meat. I saw a hand on the deck. Just a hand. Blown off at the wrist, still wearing a wedding ring. The ammunition locker near the hit had cooked off. Small arms ammunition was popping like firecrackers. Bigger shells were exploding. Each one sent more shrapnel flying across the deck. I started crawling aft, away from the fires. My leg dragged behind me. Jackie was next to me, still trying to say something. Blood was running into my eyes from somewhere on my head. I wiped it away and kept crawling. We had to get away from the fire. Had to. If the fire reached the magazines, the whole ship would go up. I don't know how long the attack lasted. Could have been 10 minutes. Could have been an hour. Time didn't work anymore. The damage control teams were already working, dragging hoses, fighting fires, pulling bodies out of the wreckage. I saw Lieutenant Hanson, good officer, everyone liked him, organizing a bucket brigade because one of the fire mains had been ruptured. His uniform was burned half off, but he kept giving orders, kept the men moving. A corpsman found me and Jackie. He looked at my leg, then at Jackie's head wound, and I saw something in his eyes. That calculation. Who might live, who might not. He tied a tourniquet around my thigh so tight I nearly blacked out, then moved on to Jackie. There were too many wounded. Too many. The list was getting worse. We were taking on water. I could hear the pumps working, could hear men shouting about flooding in compartments I couldn't even remember the names of. The ship was dying under us, and we were trying to keep her alive long enough to matter. Another plane came in. I heard the guns open up, heard someone screaming, "Here comes another one!" I tried to curl up smaller, make myself less of a target, like that would matter. Like anything mattered. It missed us, hit the water, or maybe someone shot it down. I don't know. I just know it wasn't us this time. The all clear sounded eventually. The attack was over. We'd survived. The word felt hollow. 37 men dead, 71 wounded. I learned the numbers later. In that moment, I just saw bodies lined up on the deck, covered with whatever we could find. Blankets, tarps, someone's jacket. Pete Kowalski was under one of those tarps. I knew which one because I could see his boots sticking out. He'd just gotten new boots a week ago. Complained they were too stiff, needed breaking in. They'd never get broken in now. A destroyer escort came alongside to help with the wounded. They rigged a transfer line, and we started sending the worst cases across. I should have gone. The corpsman said so, but I refused. Told him other guys needed it more. Truth was, I couldn't leave. Not yet. Didn't feel right to leave while the ship was still fighting to stay afloat. Besides, where would I go? Back to the world. I wasn't sure I belonged there anymore. They got us to Karama-Reto for emergency repairs. Took 3 days just to patch the hull enough to make the ship seaworthy. I spent those days in the makeshift sick bay watching them work on Jackie. He made it through surgery, but something was gone from his eyes. He'd stare at nothing for hours. I understood. I was doing the same thing. The breaking point didn't come during the attack. It came 3 nights later when I was back on duty. Light duty. They had me standing watch on the fantail because I couldn't move around much with the leg. It was a clear night, stars everywhere. Beautiful. And I started laughing. I don't know why. Nothing was funny, nothing at all. But I stood there, leaning on my crutch, and I laughed until I was crying. Or maybe I was crying and it just sounded like laughing. I'm still not sure. A chaplain found me like that. Lieutenant Commander Murphy, Irish guy, kind face. He didn't ask what was wrong, just stood next to me for a while looking at the same stars. Why'd he do it? I finally asked. That pilot. Why'd he fly his plane into us? He could have turned around, could have bailed out. He chose to die. Murphy was quiet for a long time. Different culture, he said eventually. Different values. Honor, duty, emperor, things we can't really understand. But we're doing the same thing, I said. We're all dying for our countries. What's the difference? He thought he was right. We think we're right. But we're all just meat for the machine. There's a difference, Murphy said. But he didn't sound convinced. There has to be. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. But I kept thinking about that pilot's face. The split second I saw it before impact. He was probably 19, like me. Probably had a mother back home who cried when he left. Probably had dreams about what he'd do after the war. Except he never planned to have an after. That was the difference, I guess. He knew he was dying. We just hoped we wouldn't. I stopped laughing, stopped crying. Just felt empty. Like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left a hollow shell standing there in a sailor's uniform. Murphy put his hand on my shoulder. You did your job, son. You survived. That's enough. But it wasn't. It would never be enough. The war ended 4 months later. August 15th, 1945, VJ Day. I was stateside by then in a Navy hospital in San Diego. They'd sent me home after Okinawa. The leg wound got infected, nearly lost it. Spent weeks in fever dreams, seeing that plane come in over and over again, seeing Pete disappear, seeing that hand with the wedding ring. When they told us Japan had surrendered, the whole hospital erupted. Men were cheering, crying, hugging each other. The war was over. We'd won. We were going home. I felt nothing. They gave me a medal, Purple Heart, Combat Action Ribbon, some others I don't remember. Pinned them on my chest at a ceremony with the other wounded guys, and an admiral shook my hand and thanked me for my service. Photographers took pictures. My mother kept one on the mantel until she died. I look at that picture sometimes. That young man in his dress blues, medals on his chest, trying to smile for the camera. I don't recognize him. Don't know who he is. I came back to Pittsburgh in October of 45. Tried to get my old job at the steel mill. Tried to be normal. Went to church on Sundays. Started dating a girl from the neighborhood. Mary, sweet girl, patient with me. We got married in 47, had 2 kids, and I never told them. Not really. How could I? How do you explain to your children that their father is a ghost? That the man who tucks them in at night died off Okinawa, and something else crawled into his skin and came home? The nightmares never stopped, still haven't. I'm 73 years old now, and I still see that plane coming, still smell the burning, still hear the ringing in my ears from the explosion. Mary learned not to wake me suddenly. I'd come up swinging once, nearly hit her. Hated myself for that. I can't watch fireworks. 4th of July, everyone's celebrating, and I'm in the basement with the windows shut, hands over my ears, trying not to scream. My grandkids think Grandpa's weird. They don't know, can't know. Jackie Chen wrote me a few letters after the war. We tried to stay in touch. But what do you say? What do you talk about? The weather? Baseball? We were there together, saw the same things, and somehow that made it impossible to talk. Last letter I got was 1953. Never heard from him again. I look at the news sometimes, see these wars we keep fighting, Korea, Vietnam, now this thing in the Middle East. And I want to grab these young men by their shoulders and tell them, don't go. Whatever they promise you, glory, honor, duty, it's a lie. You don't come back. Maybe your body comes back, but you stay there. Forever. They called them the Divine Wind, Kamikaze. Men who gave everything for their emperor, their country, their honor. But I gave everything too. We all did. The difference is we had to keep living with it. Sometimes I think the Kamikaze pilots got the better deal. They knew it would end. For us, for the ones who survived, it never ends. Never. I'm still on that ship, still 19 years old, still watching that plane come in, still waiting for the impact. We won the war, they tell me. We saved the world, but nobody saved us.